did have a question though.
Okay.
No, nothing. So, I was listening to Bill Simmons' podcast,
Ugh.
and he had Chuck Klosterman on, who's like an author, like a pop culture like savant almost.
Sure.
And they were talking about if Taylor Swift was the biggest celebrity since Michael Jackson. And Chuck actually was like, I think she might be more popular than Michael Jackson.
Oh man, who was it? I think I saw a clip the other day. It was Adam Sandler and Conan O'Brien talking, and I think Sandler said like this had to be what it was like when the Beatles came to America. She's a megastar. I mean, she controls everything in her universe. Like it's crazy how popular that woman is.
Yeah.
And good for her.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't say I've done a complete 180, but I've definitely softened my my position on old T Swift there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you not jamming out to Teardrops on My Guitar, but you'll listen to Cruel Summer? Is that where we're at?
That's exactly what it is. Her country stuff, her early country stuff, awful. Still, like, just god awful in my opinion. Her pop stuff, she's got some bangers.
See, I don't know. It's funny because Holly talks about how she hates the new stuff, but she loves young Taylor. One of her friends has a theory, and not to pat myself on the back too much, one of her friends has the theory that the reason she hates the new Taylor is because it's all about relationships and breakups and how awful men are. And because I'm such a great husband, she doesn't know that feeling.
She can't relate.
Yeah. So I wonder if that's it for some people. But
young Taylor had plenty of that though too.
I find I know more of the older songs than I do the new.
Oh, for sure, because I'm in more in charge of what I listen to than I ever was before.
Sure.
Hence the whole "You Belong with Me" fiasco. But so yeah, like there's a lot of the last few albums that I haven't really I couldn't tell you, some of the some of the singles off of the newer albums, but some of them I'm like, yeah, that's a pretty good song. Like,
yeah,
it is what it is.
Yeah. So. She's like, I think that's a maturity thing though too. When you're young, especially young men, you're supposed to, our options are country music, rock, rap, right? Mm-hmm. You're not supposed to like R&B. You're not supposed to like pop music. The Wings tie it up.
Yes, they did.
We need a goal horn. If you're gonna watch the games while we're recording, I want a goal horn at least.
Tell them to stop playing on Thursday nights.
It's always been the NHL.
I know.
Where was it? Oh, as young men, you're not supposed to like pop music. It was like, even though I liked NSYNC back in the day, I could never admit that as a 15-year-old in high school.
Sure.
So yeah, I get it. My girls absolutely love Taylor Swift. So I'm used to it. I saw the movie with them. If I could afford it, I'd like to see the concert. It looked like something like spectacular and a performance and a show, not just someone going up on stage and dancing and singing the auto-tuned lip sync.
Right.
Like it was impressive. So good for her.
Yeah.
And good for Travis. We're big fans of New Heights on this podcast.
Yes. We start calling everything electric, we've got a problem.
All right now. Can I be Travis in this situation?
Sure.
Actually, I got more than Jason scruff.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll go.
You settled down before I did. Yeah. You're definitely Jason. You're older.
So next week, tune in as I take my shirt off and drink beer in the camera.
If you're not in a Chiefs colored luchador Rey Mysterio mask, then what are we doing here?
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Let's talk some wrestling, shall we?
Oh, is that what we do here? I know we were doing bullshit.
normally, but yeah, it was just a fun little thing, and of course, then we'll actually get to the wrestling, but like, so I heard them have this discussion. I'm like, yeah, I can see it. Like, I could see both sides of the argument. Like, it's definitely neck and neck between those two, and of course, like, I'm in the rewatchables, which is how the rewatchables podcast was like my gateway drug into all things Ringer.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I'm part of in their Facebook group, and of course like anything Bill says on his podcast automatically gets brought into the rewatchables group. Sure. And so there was a couple different posts about it, and of course it seemed like the people of a certain age were like, there's no way, that's impossible. And it's like, and and it's like one of them was trying to argue like, well, it's so much easier,
So,
and I'm like, that actually makes it harder.
That was going to be my next point. Is 40 years ago there was a very finite number of places you could go to get radio
and the MTV. That was
right. And all the magazines and stuff told you who you should be into, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a million options now, and she is far and away the number one. So no, that's making the argument for people when you say that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so that was the genesis of that, and I was like, I'll start with that on the podcast this week.
It's an interesting thought, yeah.
Yeah. So, so wrestling. Do you want to start with looking back at the old Chamber of Elimination, or do you want to look ahead to Revolution?
We can skip through Chamber pretty quick.
Yeah.
It wasn't a long show. We talked last week. Pretty much everything we thought was going to happen happened.
Yeah, it went chalk, and that's fine. Like, there's nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, people were bitching about it. It's like, look, if you set your alarm and got up at 5:00 in the morning for that, like, that's on you.
That's on you.
Like, I'll tell you, I've seen the highlights. I still haven't seen the Women's Chamber because I didn't end up waking up till like I woke up on my own at like 6, and I'm like, all right, I'm up. I'll go throw the show on until the kid wakes up. So I missed the Women's Chamber. But from the highlights I've seen, like, looks like Tiffany Stratton had a real coming out party in that match and stuff like that. But like everything, like, it was fine. Like, I didn't. And the important thing is that the people there in the stadium, the people that obviously don't get to see WWE come to town every year even.
Right.
They seem to really be into the show. So I mean, that's at the end of the day, that's one of the more important things. So
yeah, I agree. I actually saw more of the show than I had planned on.
Mm-hmm.
My Saturday morning plans fell through, and we were just kind of sitting around the house, and I'm like, I'll throw it on.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I think that the most important thing on the show was the Waller effect. That whole segment.
It is the most newsworthy thing, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I guess I shouldn't say most important, but and funny enough, I didn't really care for that segment. I thought it was kind of flat. But it looks like they're laying down the gauntlet for Rock and Cody maybe on night 1, so we'll see.
Yeah, I still think they're going to end up with the tag team match.
It's really the best option.
I think it is, because it mitigates the risk of everyone involved, especially 3 of the people who you would be asking to work both nights. Like, it would just lessen the risk on them, and And I think, frankly, it would be a better match if it were a tag match than it would be one-on-one, just Cody and Rock, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. Cody, I do want to talk about the closing segment of Raw this week, but Cody is going to be on SmackDown, as will The Rock this week. And I believe I know Rock's going to announce for the next 3 the next 3 SmackDowns, and Cody I think is too. He's at least
I just
for the next 2. He just released his schedule for March, and I know this week and next week was on there. I couldn't remember if the 15th was or not.
I just saw it reported before we hit record that he's going to be at the next 3.
Okay, so there you go. So we're going to be really. I feel like this year we're actually like, at least The Rock. I mean, who knows if Roman's going to be there all those weeks or not. But unlike last year, it looks like at least for this part of whatever they end up doing, you're going to have Cody and The Rock on the same show multiple weeks in a row instead of Cody trying to carry the whole thing by himself with Paul Heyman like what happened last year. So
right. And I think they probably already had The Rock locked in for this. And when they pivoted, it was just, okay, well, we'll throw Cody in there and figure it out as we go.
Right. Sure. But I gotta say, I think my favorite match on the show was the Rhea Nia match. I really liked that match. I wouldn't say I was a fan, but I was always more positive about Nia than most people before. But I think since she's comes back, she's been doing really good work, and I think that they had a great dynamic in their match, so it worked. I really enjoyed it.
You mean the fans booing someone when they're not good in the ring actually might force them to get better at their craft?
Maybe.
Just a thought. Who knows? Who are the people that pay hard-earned money for their tickets? Who are they to judge how good someone is in a wrestling ring, right?
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah. I don't know. I think where that may have crossed the line is when they said don't ever come back. Like, that might have been a little harsh, but
whatever. The guy who we were just talking about, people chanted "Die Rocky, die" at him.
Sure, fair.
I get it. She's trying to get better. If only they had a facility where she could practice unlimited matches before she was on television or on the road in front of a paying audience. If only.
Yeah. No, you're totally. Yeah, I'm with you.
That was one of the stupidest. I just couldn't believe and look, and I don't blame the other talent for coming out and being like, "Hey, we got your back." That's the right thing for them to do, right? Publicly,
right?
But to go after fans for making her feel bad, you know what you signed up for when you got in, and if you didn't, well, welcome to pro wrestling. Right. People say mean things to you in the crowd. It's kind of your job to do that for half the roster. So, whatever.
Right. But yeah. So yeah, I like the main event. Some interesting things coming out of the men's chamber. AJ Styles flying 20 some hours. just on the off chance that he might be able to get in the chamber and screw over LA Knight.
Yeah, right.
Love it. And so it looks like those two are going to pair off for WrestleMania, and also looks like I think it's going to end up being a triple threat with
Owens,
Logan Paul, and Randy. It definitely looks like Logan and Randy in some capacity, and it obviously didn't seem like Kevin Owens is finished with Logan Paul either. So
if he didn't concuss himself headbutting that glass over and over again. Yeah. I think that could happen. I think we also might be angling towards a gimmick match,
Mm-hmm.
where like Sammy's involved too, because Sammy's on his I gotta win a title kick. There's story there
Yeah, I
because he
think
brought Logan in. Didn't he bring Logan into WWE?
he did.
Him and Kevin, obvious. Like I just feel like there's probably something there.
I think he's gonna get the Gunther match,
Yeah, maybe.
and I'm not sure how I like. Obviously, from a match standpoint, I mean
Okay,
that's great.
that'll
Like,
be the best. That'll be the best match of the entire two cards. If they give it proper time, not in terms of ring work, nothing will beat
uh, yeah, no, you're right. Um, but I from a like he's been harping on I'm gonna be a world champion for like the last couple months, and so then to like I don't know settle for a shot at the Intercontinental title, that just seems kind of weird to
it.
me.
Sure.
But no, from an in ring standpoint, there's no doubt that that would be a really good match for WrestleMania. So yeah, I mean that was Elimination Chamber.
Real quick,
Yeah,
Logan Paul is he's like they struck gold with him.
he's great,
I
man.
it's starting to feel like a Kurt Angle situation where they just got a guy at the right time and they packaged him perfectly out of the gate, and he's improving at a rate that no one else that most people never come close to.
Yeah,
I'm not saying he's Kurt Angle, but this is starting to look like those first couple of years of Kurt, where you're like, this dude's one of the 5 or 6 best talents in the entire company, and he just got into business. Like,
and like
and I hate saying it because I don't like the guy.
the in ring is one thing, but like he gets it on a level that a lot of the guys and gals who do it full time don't get. Like,
I think I think it's because his personality. They say the best. It's your personality dialed up to 11,
sure,
and I think that's it.
yeah,
He's really good at being an arrogant dipshit.
mm-hmm, yeah, for sure. Um, but yeah, and then obviously the winners of the chamber were not any surprise to anybody. I don't know if you heard, but there's a portion of the fan base that is not happy about Becky Lynch winning.
Yeah, and they're trying to get Liv Morgan in as the as a triple threat, right?
Right, or something, yeah.
Yeah, it's whatever. It's this is wrestling fans. This is what we do.
Yep. So
It's well, Rhea and Becky is
that's
like that's event that could main event either night. Like it's gonna be amazing.
yeah, no, yeah, people are just insane. There's this weird and look, not everybody has to like everybody, but there's always been this weird section of people that have for whatever reason never liked Becky.
Yeah,
And it's like I just don't I mean whatever, but to each their own, but like she's if you can't see like the star power she is and has and all that, then you're just blind.
right. And that's I mean I'm that way about Drew McIntyre. I don't get Drew McIntyre, and he's doing great work right now. But
He's
I've never been a guy that's like that dude's awesome. I'm always just like yeah, seems fine.
right. He's oh my god, he's so good right now. He is so good right
Yeah.
now.
Have you heard the because um, Punk was announced for the final Raw before Mania?
Oh, okay.
There's a theory he's going to be the guest referee for Seth versus Drew,
I'd be all
which
for that.
I think is the best way to get him on that show.
I'd be all for that.
Yep,
Heck
sign
yeah.
me up.
If he can physically do it, yeah, give it to me.
I mean, all he's got to do is be able to slide and count to 3.
Right. Right. But so Well, isn't he left-handed? I don't know. Whatever. He'd figure it out. He'd figure it out. Yeah. No, that'd be awesome. I hope so. That'd be sweet. But so it wasn't a bad episode of Raw by any means, but there wasn't really anything that like really stood out. The New Day and Imperium street fight. That was awesome.
I heard that was pretty damn good.
That ripped. But the main event was Cody versus Grayson, and then afterwards Heyman came out with some
one phone for Dwayne.
Well,
one phone for Roman.
That, and he came out with some off-duty NYPD police officers who were on administrative leave or something. I can't remember how he put it, but basically he's like, I brought these dirty cops with me to rough you up a little bit. And we're getting... Every time Cody even brings up like or starts to try and tell his reasoning why he was going to step away for The Rock, he gets interrupted.
Mm-hmm.
And we're getting closer and closer to him finally spilling the beans. So hopefully that comes here in the next, one of these weeks that he's on SmackDown with Rock. But the police officers surround him in the ring, Shield style, and Cody's got a chair, and he's like, "Look, if one more person, even makes a move towards getting in this ring, like I'm killing everyone with the steel chair." And Heyman's like, "Surely you don't mean me," and he goes to get in the ring, and Cody goes, "I especially mean you."
Right.
And there's a little more back and forth, and then he eventually ends up having to take everyone out with the steel chair, and he sits down and he says something like, basically like, "I'm tired of being hunted by the Bloodline. Now I'm going to be the one hunting the Bloodline." So that could be fun.
Yeah. The Codyverse Civil War. Here we come.
Yeah, exactly. Let's do it. He's Cap, obviously. So who's Iron Man?
It would be Seth, wouldn't it?
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Quirky, very, very arrogant. Could quite easily be the bad guy as much as the good guy.
Created the problem everyone's got to fight against.
Yeah. See?
Does that make Roman Ultron?
No, it makes him Thanos, right?
I just mean because Seth said that he's the one that created Roman.
Oh.
So.
Oh well, yeah, no, but yeah, Roman has to be Thanos.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he turned two siblings against each other, right? Like.
Yeah. So.
You've heard people say that this is the actual theory, right? That this is like Cody's such a big nerd, and like when they all started pulling this together, they drew inspiration. Like there's a theory online that they drew inspiration from Endgame. Last year was Infinity War. This is Endgame.
Sure. Sure. Okay. Let's do it. Let's do it. Why not?
Yeah.
So.
Disney needs a hit right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Marvel more specifically, but whatever.
Well, Disney as a whole, I think, needs a hit. But so yeah, I'm excited for SmackDown tomorrow. I wanna see these two together in the same building again, and actually have a extended back and forth. See what comes out of it. So,
but a little part of me wonders if this is gonna shit the bed. But
I mean, it's possible. So let me ask you, and I hate to bring this up because I hate that people are putting this out in the universe. Seth turning on Cody.
Oh, that's stupid.
Okay.
That's stupid.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
dumb.
I've heard multiple people bring it up.
For what purpose?
Swerve, bro.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. That would be the dumbest thing ever.
I agree, obviously. Um, I don't care. One, like, I don't need to see that again right now. Uh, and even if it was something I wanted to see, anything that begins with Roman walking out of WrestleMania with the title still, like, I'm just, it's a no for me, dog.
Sure, sure. Yeah. I get it. Yeah, I think that's just people fantasy booking themselves
It's them,
a
yeah,
little hard.
trying to be smarter than everyone. You know.
I mean, if anyone's turning on Cody that they want to turn into a massive heel, like it's it's Punk, right? Like if you're trying to make someone into a massive heel that doesn't get overshadowed, it's that guy because Seth just came off of a heel turn or a heel run. He just turned face. Drew just turned heel. Like,
right.
yeah, that's nonsense.
Right.
You wouldn't put Jay back with the bloodline. Actually, if anyone's going to turn on Cody in this, it should be Jay. But they're clearly angling for Jimmy versus Jay at Mania. So
Right. Yep. I agree. So, anything else? WWE.
I mean, we should probably mention the unfortunate passing of Virgil.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we had a couple deaths in the wrestling world this week. With started out with Oli at the beginning of the week, but the one that you and I probably hit us a little bit more was Virgil. Like that was a tough one a little bit. Like he was one of the obviously he's not one or two, but he's like top 10 of like of the like you think about the main characters of like those late 80s early 90s, like he's up there, you know, with as much screen time as he got both with DiBiase and against DiBiase.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and he was always good for a solid tweet.
Yeah.
Always trying to make a buck. You know that kind of hustler's mentality on the indie scene after he retired. I always got a kick out of. So
Right. Yeah.
Go get some meat sauce and a breadstick for Virgil.
That's right. Go to Olive Garden and in memory of
Could go for some Olive Garden. Actually, that might not a bad idea.
Yeah, that was actually sounds pretty good. Actually, to be honest, sounds pretty good to be honest. Hold on, I'm looking for something here before we move on. So yeah, they let up, or they looks like they're setting up multiple challengers for Gunther. With they had Dom and Priest and Sammy and Gable. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else I'm missing. So yeah, I mean, what? It is the Sammy match the one you want? Is there another one that you are kind of leaning toward?
I mean, Priest is an automatic no for me. because I think he's going to be tied up in the tag match. He's, senior Money in the Bank. He doesn't need to mess around with the Intercontinental Champion.
Right.
I don't think it's realistic for Dom. I think he's going to end up doing something with his dad. It sounds like Ray's going to be healthy for Mania. I wouldn't hate Gable. The little feud they had earlier, like late last year, early into this year.
Yeah.
It was really good. Like, I know a lot of people were kind of hoping Gable would dethrone him. And like you said with Sammy, he wants a world title, so it doesn't make sense that he'd be focused on the IC. So Gable wouldn't be a bad option either.
Right. Yeah. No,
I also feel like we keep talking about all these options. I feel like some matches or some big names are going to get left off this card. Like, we haven't even really touched on the women's matches.
Mm-hmm.
There's, like I just said, there's gonna be a tag match, I think, with DIY versus uh, uh, Priest and Balor, or
right.
not DIY. I'm sorry, Awesome Truth.
Yeah.
That's got to happen. So, like, I don't know how they're going to fit all these people on this card because they're only advertising 3.5 hours each night, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, they'll probably go 3.5, 4 hours each show. I can't remember. Like, I want to say there was 16 matches last year between the two. So like 8 and 8, maybe.
Yeah.
There's going to be some sort of big multi-man, whether it's either tag team turmoil or some sort of, last year it was the showcase where they had the 4-way matches for the tag teams, a men's and a women's. So maybe you do that again. Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see who gets left off.
Yeah, they did 15 last year. So.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
All right, on to Revolution, right?
On to Revolution. Did you see Sting come down from the rafters one final time?
I did.
That was pretty.
Great work.
Sweet. That was pretty sweet.
Pretty. Didn't like. I was surprised when I saw the clip this morning. Like, wow, I didn't expect that at all.
Yeah. I kind of feel
it's too bad they couldn't. It's too bad they couldn't have pulled off one more segment in the Bleach Blonde Stinger era.
Yeah. Yeah. Someone said that Darby, even though Darby's whole thing is black and white too, that Darby should, seeing as he's already got the blonde hair.
Oh man, I didn't even think about that. That's absolutely what he should do.
Yeah.
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 Oh, I hope that's what they do now.
Yeah, me too. It's kind of weird that they blew the. I mean, in one way, it's like, okay, good, they got it out of the way, but they kind of, I thought for sure the Flair thing was going to play a factor in the actual match, and they kind of just blew that off last night.
Whatever.
Right. I don't know. Obviously, fuck Ric Flair, but it's there's going to be a certain in a night that's going to be all about nostalgia. It would have been kind of funny if there was the will he or won't he turn on Sting yet again type thing going on, but
maybe he'll actually do it at the pay-per-view.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Hope not. I mean, hopefully now he just stays away. Like,
right.
Those punches he was trying to throw were just. You're 75 years old. Just go away. But yeah, let's look at the Revolution card here, and let's go with we've got the TNT Championship. Christian Cage defending against Daniel Garcia.
I hope Christian holds on to it. It's, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago we were talking like I'm not taking that off of him anytime. It's I feel like Garcia, and granted I haven't watched it week to week. I don't know how well he's doing right now, but I think I already felt like they missed their chance with him a while ago. I don't think it's going to help him much here. I think he'd just be a transitional champion.
I think he's at a point right now where I wouldn't say he's hotter than he was, last year or whatever, but him being in the Continental Classic, even though he lost all but one of his matches, he still had, really good showings. He just kept coming up short. That built him up in the fans' eyes, and he was part of the FTR versus House of Black feud, and that propped him up a little bit. So he's back at a point where I think people would be accepting of it. My thing is, where does old Cope come into play in this? Is this where he turns heel and joins, even though Christian took him out with the concerto, does he maybe not join Christian, but does he cost Garcia the title because he's so obsessed with him being the one to take it off Christian? So you could go that route. I don't know. Part of me wants to see Christian just keep it, and the other part of me is like, yeah, it would be really, really nice to have Daniel Garcia win something finally. So right now Christian Cage is minus 260 favorite to win the match.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So then we have a tag team match, Blackpool Combat Club, John Moxley and Claudio facing good old FTR.
And they didn't put a stip on it.
No stipulation as of right now, which I found very odd.
That makes me think it's going to be another draw.
Think so?
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. This one's kind of a toss-up to me.
And see, I'm gonna take the odd choice. I'm gonna call this is a draw, some way, shape, or form. I don't know if it'll be a time limit, but there's going to be some sort of they still haven't figured out a winner.
Right. Yeah, maybe it's not a time limit. Maybe it's some sort of double count out or double DQ or something like that. I could see that.
Right.
I could see that. I'll go with the BCC though. They're minus 160.
Okay.
And then we have making his official debut as a member of the actual AEW roster. Obviously, he wrestled at Forbidden Door and All In last year, but he was still part of New Japan. We've got Will Ospreay taking on his family member in the Don Callis family, Konosuke Takeshita. And yeah, Will Ospreay's going to win this match.
Oh yeah, Ospreay's going to win, but this match could be it could be, pardon the pun, dynamite.
This match.
I don't think it'll steal the show. I think everyone knows this is the match on the show.
Sure.
And it has the potential with who's in it to be a match of the year candidate early on.
Yeah. Want to take a stab at how big a favorite Ospreay is?
1,200.
Not 5,000.
5,000?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll save these.
See, it's a good thing I can't bet on wrestling because I hear 5,000 and I go, that's only $10 to turn it into a nice little win for me. You know, that 500. Maybe I should throw some money down on this. Because it is wrestling.
Right.
Like it could be a thing where Don Callis screws Will Ospreay to ruin his debut match.
Could.
Like
you could.
That's what I'm saying. A tenner turns into 500.
That's why this is what I don't get. It. Why? So if he's minus 5,000, why is Takeshita then only plus 900?
Oh, okay. So they don't do the split on it.
No. No. So like
so then
Garcia is plus 180 and FTR was plus 120.
That's so when the books take their juice, that's how they set the line to make sure that they should be pretty close to either hit or, you know, they should make money either way when you factor in the juice. So what they're saying is there's so many people that would have to bet on Will Ospreay to move the line higher that they're not going to give, you know, Takeshita's line those same odds.
Right.
Because then they would lose their ass if they if AEW was just like, yeah, screw it.
Right. Sure. For the Women's World Championship, we have Toni Storm defending against Deonna Purrazzo.
I know you're excited for this.
I think this is going to be a really good match. I really like, obviously, I like the timeless Toni Storm character, and from what I've seen of Deonna Purrazzo, which hasn't been a whole lot, but from what I've seen, she's really good in the ring. So yeah, I think this is going to be a good match.
Sure.
But I think with Mercedes coming in, I think Tony's going to retain here.
Yeah, I'll go the opposite. I'll take Deonna.
Okay.
I don't think Mercedes is coming in and feuding for the title right away.
I don't think she should.
I think
that's how they
do
things.
If they're smart, they pair her with Britt right away, and that way you've got again, pardon the pun, I'm on fire. You've got a money match that doesn't involve your world title that just takes care of itself, and you can continue to get other people valuable screen time and maybe make another star or two in that division.
Britt who? Who's this person?
I've heard her name.
Okay. All right, because I wouldn't know she existed right now. So.
I mean, maybe it's just a thing where they're like, yeah, let's give her a little bit of a break. I mean,
sure.
She was everywhere for that company for a while. So maybe, and instead of writing her out so that she had to have a storyline when they came back, maybe it was, hey, we know we're close with Mercedes. Like, if we can make this happen, you guys can just kick it right off, and you don't have to be in a feud right when you come back with somebody, or you don't have a previous score to settle when you do come back. You can jump right into Mercedes.
Right. Yeah, maybe. I don't even remember the last thing she did on TV, to be honest. So that's why I'm just
It's probably a good thing.
Yeah, I guess. So yeah, Tony's minus 700, Deanna's plus 400 on that one.
Yeah.
We've got the AEW International Championship. Orange Cassidy defending against Roderick Strong.
So this is me because I don't watch. I would guess Roderick probably needs the win because from what I can tell, this faction is already stalling out, and they spent so much time on this devil character, like maybe putting the belt on Roddy and giving them something to build, because they're going to reference Undisputed Era, like having all the gold, so that could help lead to it.
Yeah, no, I think Roddy should win, both for the reasons you said, and like we did the Orange, like his first run with the title was amazing, and but we've done it, and now we're doing it again, and I get like they were in a tough spot because like Moxie got hurt, and then Phoenix got hurt, or vice versa, however that went down. Both of them got hurt at the same time, and so then they're like, all right, well, I guess we'll just put the belt back on Orange, and it's like, okay, and it's just, I'm just ready for something. I'm ready for Orange to go do something else, and yeah, I think Roddy should win this match, and he's minus 600 favorite. Orange Cassidy is plus 350. The Continental Crown Championship.
How many fucking titles do they need?
All of
Jesus.
them. All of them.
This is embarrassing.
All of them.
And Mania is going to be worse.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Yeah. Eddie Kingston defending against Bryan Danielson.
If not for Will Ospreay, like, I would expect this to be the best match on the show.
Right.
I'm really looking forward to this one.
Yeah.
Just on paper, I've heard that the back and forth has been really good.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie, the little bit I've seen of Eddie lately, it looks like his in-ring is almost on par with his mic. Like he's found his groove. And you know, Bryan is really the best in the world. So
yeah,
maybe Will's right there, but you know, Danielson's gonna deliver. So
yeah, for sure. Bryan ended up choking out Eddie in the trios match they had last night. So conventional wrestling wisdom has me believing that means Eddie's going to retain.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm going to go with.
I think Bryan's winning.
Okay. All right.
Bryan's winning, and then when Okada debuts, he challenges Bryan for that Continental Classic title because it'll have the Japanese element to it.
True. Yeah, I could see that. Eddie is minus 300 and Bryan is plus 200.
Oh, that's a steal. You get Bryan Danielson at plus 200 anything, you take it.
And then this one's weird. Apparently they were going to have, it was going to be a 4-way. This Meat Madness. And they had to change it.
And then Jericho politicked his way into the paper.
Well,
let's call it what it is.
Well,
whatever.
Could be that, or Miro said, I ain't showing up to lose. Because it sounds like it was supposed to be Miro in the match. And
yeah, and Keith Lee too.
Well, Keith Lee's hurt.
That's
yeah. Either way, so now it's Wardlow, Hobbs, Archer, Jericho, and I think there's 2 more.
Isn't Hook in there?
Hook and
or no? Yeah, it is Hook.
Yeah, it's Hook. Hold on, I gotta find the actual card now.
Well, they actually advertised the match with Archer, Hobbs, and Wardlow, though. Like, if you knew you couldn't deliver the match as you planned, why would you even advertise it in the first place? Like, it drives me nuts when they do this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the All-Star Scramble. It's Jericho, Wardlow, Hobbs, Archer, Hook, Brian Cage, and then 2 more that are to be determined.
Someone on Wikipedia has altered it to say Magnus and Dante Martin.
Okay, they're in the 2 qualifying matches, so that probably is who because I think they tape both.
Oh, I just gave a spoiler out. I apologize.
I mean, whatever. It's all right. Either way, I don't see either. This is gonna be Wardlow. Like, I think he was supposed to win the original match. I think he's gonna win this match.
They should have Hook win.
Sure, why not? So I'm not gonna do the odds for this one because this site I'm looking at still has this listed as a 3-way, so it doesn't have everyone else added in. So
right.
That brings us to the two main matches, and depending on which one of these main events alters who I think is going to win each of these matches.
Come on, Sting's main eventing. Let's work on the assumption that Sting is main eventing.
Okay, so then let's do the world title match first. We have Samoa Joe defending against Swerve Strickland and Hangman Adam Page. If they're not main eventing, then I'm assuming Samoa Joe is retaining.
I think Joe wins regardless. I don't think they had him take the belt off of MJF to drop it in a 3-way without having a little bit of a run with it.
I think they only had him beat MJF because MJF physically couldn't continue. I think MJF would still be a champion right now. I think we'd be looking at an MJF Swerve match if he wasn't so hurt. But that's just me personally. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Samoa Joe as well. It's so it goes minus 1,200 for Samoa Joe, plus 450 for Swerve, and plus 2,000 for Hangman.
See, Swerve at plus 450 is kind of a risk I'd be willing to take.
Right, because
it's one of those two.
It's one of those two, and it wouldn't shock me if Swerve won. But yeah, I think it's Joe. And that brings us to what we assume will be the main event, the World Tag Team Championship Tornado Tag match. Sting's last match. Sting and Darby Allin defending the titles against the Young Bucks, Matthew and Nicholas. If Sting's main eventing, I don't think he loses. I think they win.
Really?
Yep, I think they win, and either Darby gets to pick a new partner or they vacate the titles and do some sort of tournament, because God knows AEW loves their tournaments. They haven't done they haven't done a tag tournament, I don't think, since the inception of the belts. So they can do their own version of World Tag League or something and just go nuts.
Yeah, that'd be fun, actually.
Put some shine back on the division.
I think Sting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Sting wins. The Bucks. I don't see the Bucks being even considering the idea of putting Sting over or going over Sting in his last match. Because it's not like beating Sting is going to make the Young Bucks any bigger. They're already an established, top tier act.
The only reason to have
there's
Sting,
no benefit.
Right. The only reason to have Sting lose is the time honored tradition of if you're leaving, or you're retiring or whatever, is you go out on your back. But I think in this case, I don't.
Taker won his last match.
Right. Fair. Yeah. No. Exactly. So. Yeah. No. I'd go Sting and Darby on this one. But
if only to say thank you to Sting for at his age, not only taking a chance on an upstart wrestling company, but buying in and being involved when they needed him. He's look of all the old WWE TNA guys that they brought in, can you name 3 others that have been better than what Sting's done when he's been there, since he's been there? I would argue, I mean, better than Christian, better than Edge. I mean, Edge is, or Copeland is still new, but like
I,
I was more impressed with his stuff than anything Cody did. I'll say that. Like
Brian and Jericho are the only two I can think of. And even
you
Jericho's
could
stuff
say,
has fallen off to such a point right now that um, that would even be questionable. But yeah, no, I get your point. I've loved what they did with Sting, and I was when they first brought him in, I was like, really, like this. What can he do? He's 60. He can't, you know, he's got a stack of dimes for a neck, whatever.
yeah,
And it's been great. It's been the one of the most consistent things is if Sting's wrestling a match, it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be bells and whistles, but who cares? Like it's always a fun time when Sting's
that's
wrestling.
bells and whistles. Like bells and whistles are like just for the sake of bells and whistles, like kill stuff. But when you're interested in like it, man, it's Sting, and he's diving off balconies, and he like this dude is still putting it out there for the fans. Like, yeah, we're gonna ignore it now. If you give us bells and whistles every single match, well then yeah,
Right.
you get sick of it.
Right.
And a company like AEW, some of that Gaga is kind of nice to see once in a while because it's not just about what happens, in the technical aspect.
Right.
It's fun to just have fun watching wrestling sometimes.
Yeah. Um, the Bucks are actually favored -400. Sting and Darby are +250.
Man, I'm gonna have to poke around on some of these websites and see if I can actually lay down a bet on some wrestling.
This is from Bet Online, is where I got all that from. So
Yeah, I don't know that that's legal in Michigan. I don't think the state permits you to bet on pro wrestling because I'm not sure you can bet on like the Oscars and stuff like that.
right, right. Um, real quick, what are your one or two? Well, first, like which what version of Sting is your favorite, and then or what are some standout Sting either matches or moments that stand out to you?
I might be the wrong guy to ask this question
Oh,
because
that's right. You're not really a Sting guy.
I'm not a Sting guy. I don't want to root like
Yeah.
I feel like I just have to say I think he's one of the more overrated guys of all time. But I understand why a lot of people like him. Like I have a hard time. I can't name 10 Sting matches that are like I go back and watch them. But the character is outstanding.
Yeah.
And I think that's like when I think of Sting, I think of I my favorite Sting is bleach blonde surfer Sting because
Okay.
that's the Sting that I saw when I was a kid, and
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get to see WCW as much as I saw WWF. So like I was always like, man, I love to watch Sting. If I see Sting on TV, I gotta watch him. And the woo and
Yeah.
just all of it, the crazy intense promos and
Mm-hmm.
um but then I think man, 1996 and 97, that I don't think you were watching at the time. You were a WWF guy, right?
Well, I wasn't watching anything at that time, so
Okay.
yeah, because we didn't have cable.
I
So, but
I was so obsessed with that Sting storyline in
oh yeah,
'97.
you and everyone
It was
else.
so good. I know, right? It was. It sucks that the payoff was that it was what it
Right.
was.
Right.
But man, that dude at two different points was like, I wanted to just like watch everything involving him. But then as I got older and I started to watch his work, I'm like, man, the in ring stuff, and I'm an in ring guy,
Right.
so like it just doesn't hold up for me. So he's always like kind of an afterthought to me.
Right. Yeah.
But real quick, I just want to say I think he's an all-time great. I think he's a legend. I love that everyone's going to give him his flowers this week. He deserves all of it. Like, you know, kudos on an incredible career.
Yeah. For sure. For sure. Um, I think for me, yeah, it's It's definitely Crow Sting, and it's. I was thinking about it. It was the two moments that really stick out for me is the when he saves DDP, where he repels from the ceiling and then hooks DDP up to the harness, and we're out of time. And then I loved Wolfpack Sting. So when he does the reveal that he's in the Wolfpack, that for me is like, yeah. So
he's when you say Wolfpack in general, even though he wasn't part of the original, he's the first guy I think of when I think of Wolfpack, because I think of the red and black face paint.
Yeah. So
I think looking back at both of their careers, I think he's Ric Flair's greatest rival. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of the old heads will say no, it's Dusty, or
Steamboat or Harley,
but you know what? No, because the Steamboat thing was only a couple of years.
It was it was 3 matches within the same year. It was just no, they fought because they fought in the 70s, and it was right. They kept going back,
but the big feud was but Sting and Flair, I mean, it lasted for
ever
8-9 years. And even now there's like, is Flair gonna turn on him at the pay-per-view? Like, right. It could happen. So like, I don't know, when I think of Sting, I think of Ric Flair, and that's just kind of to me, like I said, Flair's my favorite Flair opponent, at least.
Flair turning on him Halloween Havoc 95, no matter how many times I watch that clip, always funny to me. I laugh every single time because it's the most ridiculous thing ever. I can't help it. I just bust out laughing. So all right.
You think you're gonna cry?
No, I don't think so.
You've gotten weepy as you've gotten older.
I have. It's fatherhood. That's what's done it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Same thing.
But no, I don't think so. I'm not that, like, I love Sting, but I'm not like that attached to Sting.
Sure.
So,
you think they're gonna do the Sting goodbye on Dynamite Wednesday, like WWE did for Flair? I think they should, honestly.
I think they should. I don't know, the way they were very specific about him last night being the last time as a wrestler he would be on Dynamite.
Right.
But I also think that, like, the reason you do this in Greensboro is so that can be the last goodbye in that arena in front of those fans. So I don't know. I'm either way, like, I'm good with it. Like, whether they do or he just cuts it, gives a speech to the crowd at the end of the pay-per-view, or after the pay-per-view goes off air or whatever. Like, I'm good either way. So
right. I hope they've had a crew following him for the last few months. I think that'd be a really interesting documentary to see, just like this all come together.
I do too. I do too. Hopefully, the WBD people have been putting something together, because that
doing some really Detroit Lions social media team type stuff.
Yeah.
Making mini movies and things.
But yes. So, all right. Anything else
on AEW? No.
Just over any, like, period.
Oh, I hinted at the Lions. Bleacher Report, I don't know if you saw, but someone with Bleacher Report says Jared Goff's extension is what's that?
Little Latte, Jordan Schultz. He,
yeah.
So he
know
goes
he
on
had a
McAfee's
nickname.
show every once in a while. So his dad is one of the founders of Starbucks.
Oh, okay. So he's absolutely loaded to the gills,
Yeah.
and that's how he got his reporter job. Good. Uh, um, he is reporting that Goff's extension is going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 4 years, between $40 and $45 million. Which, if that's true,
Sign it
I don't even.
yesterday.
And you know what? And it doesn't have to be like Barry's, but let's build this man a statue right now anyway. Like what? Like I can't believe this. Good things like this wouldn't happen to us. It doesn't happen to us. Like he's not only is he like, yeah, I want to stay. I'm cutting you a break because I need this team to stay intact. Like this is unheard of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I
Yep.
hope it's true.
I think it probably will be. I think it probably will
And
be.
and that's such a low number that if they did end up going, well, we ended up closing at 50. I'd be like, perfect. Like, I'm still happy.
Right, like 50 is acceptable, but like if you can get it lower than that, anything lower than that, like you do that now. You like, what do you like? Here, Jared.
Right. We'll fly you anywhere you want to go in the world right now. We'll fly there so we can sign this contract.
Yeah, I don't need to watch these defensive linemen run sprints. Let's get this contract
Right.
signed.
Right. And then Burkett reported that Amon Ra's people are meeting with the Lions this week too.
Yep.
So they lock up the duo.
Yep.
I was tinkering around with one of those salary cap generators, throwing in the deals and stuff. They're gonna have like $37 million with Goff extended, St. Brown extended. That was including re-signing Graham Glasgow in my little scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were gonna be ready.
You think they'll actually kick the tires on trading for Snead or no?
I hope so. He's kind of
Well,
my
of course
like
you hope so, but do you think they actually will?
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. Because I've seen some people say you could get him for a second rounder.
Mm-hmm.
If that's the case, again, I do that deal yesterday. I go get him right now, and if they ask for the first, if they want to kick back their second, I'd be okay with that.
Right. Yeah. So I hope they do.
He's exactly the type of cornerback they need,
Mm-hmm.
and he's the arguably the best at that skill of being in man coverage when your team's sending the house.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, yeah, no, I hope they have the discussion. If whatever happens, they don't end up being able to get a deal done, whatever. But at least I hope I hear that they had conversations. So
Yeah, I mean, bottom line, I trust what they do.
I do too. I don't get.
I mean,
I don't know if you've been listening at all, but like it seems like people are like pre-ready to drag Holmes over the coals for moves he has or hasn't even made yet.
right.
And I'm like, what? Like,
Look, the reality of the situation is there are a lot of stupid football fans in the Metro Detroit area because all they've seen is shit football their entire life, and because fans like to believe in their team. They don't understand. To me, they don't understand football at a level of like, this is how you build a team.
right?
You can't just play it like it's Madden. There's a way to do it, and they don't seem to understand that. There are people on the radio today saying $42 million is too much for Jared Goff. Are you insane?
Oh yeah. Those people can't be reasoned with. But it's not even just the fans. Like even Valenti is like almost like fear mongering in a way of like, I don't just wait and see what happens. Like if they don't do anything of note, then you can get them on them a little bit. But like again, like look at how they've turned it around in just 3 years. Like just everyone was on him because he didn't make a move at the deadline, and they still made it to the NFC Championship game. Like,
I don't know. I see. Yeah, they still made it there, but they probably could have won the damn thing if they would have made a move. But they also could have won the damn thing if guys just hold on to the ball. So, there's that side of it too. I get that.
Yeah.
I think the more like I would be more shocked that they did nothing than if they made the trade for Snead and then traded up in the first round and went and got a defensive lineman that they really like or another cornerback that they really like and said we're moving all in on getting the guys right now that we think we need to win this damn thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if they did all that, guess what? They'd still have like $25 million to play with in free agency.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And to me, that's the more likely scenario than Brad just stands pat and pays all of his draft picks and doesn't make any moves. Like, come on. All the guy's done since he's been here is make moves.
Yeah, he'll do something. Whether it's the exact moves people want is going to be a completely different thing. But yeah, he'll do something. So we'll just see what. Let it play out.
I get the sports talk, guys. I mean,
yeah. I mean, they got to.
They got to fill 4 hours. Right. And what do people want to talk about? No one's talking about the Stones. The Red Wings are just now getting back into the conversation. I even pulled out this old rag.
I see. A lot of good it did them tonight.
Yeah.
It was those damn jersey patches.
Yep. Well, you put garbage on your jersey. That's what you get.
Yep. Can't wait for that joke 100 every time they lose for the next however long that deal's for. That won't get old at all.
They did it to themselves.
Sure. It's just one of those things where it's like this is the way now. So buckle up. Like I'm
right,
not
but
I
guess the point a lot of people are making is like you couldn't find some other brand to advertise for that much money on your jersey than a garbage company. Are you like how dumb do you have to be?
Yeah. Fair. But what I mean, what is this garbage company doing that they've got that kind of scratch to be able to make that deal?
Maybe it's Tony Soprano's garbage company.
Hey.
Oh, you're not a Sopranos guy.
No, I'm not.
Forgot about that.
I'm not. It's one of my blind spots. I want to, but at this point, it's like the task of getting through, what is it, like 7 seasons?
Yeah, it's like I'm in the middle. I just started a rewatch. I'm like 9 episodes into the first season right now.
Yeah, like
it's like 80 some episodes, dude. I'll say this: it's nostalgic in some senses, but the story is timeless. Like
for sure. Like
it's worth your time, dude.
I would love it. It's just the like having that much content to try and get through like is daunting. Is what it is. It's like ugh. Like if it was like a season, I'd be like, yeah, I'll knock this out. Like,
I mean, even if you do 1 episode a week, it's a year and a half, but it's 1 hour episode a week.
True.
Don't watch old TNA.
I don't watch any old wrestling now. Like that's the thing. Like I don't even. It's not like. Yeah.
Fair enough.
So. It's like the only thing that's like, it's something I probably should watch while the kid's not around. Is basically what it is, and like.
Absolutely not.
Good luck with that.
That's
so.
fair.
That's the other part.
That's true.
But, all right, let's get out of here. Yeah, we'll be back next week, correct? As far as you know.
Yeah, I don't think I have. No, I never have anything at 9 o'clock on a Thursday. Come on.
Well,
this is my priority.
You know. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. So yeah, we'll be back next week then with breaking down Revolution and heading to further down the road to WrestleMania. So all kinds of good stuff. Leave a thumbs up on the video, like and subscribe to the channel, share, tap the bell for notifications, all that good kind of stuff. I'm Chris, that's Matt, and until next time, see ya.